Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Maureen Harvey. I'm the chair of the Voice Committee, and I'm president of the Alliance. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm an older woman with gray hair, short, and wearing black with tie-dye. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone who is watching us on YouTube this morning. Please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining us from. If you're in Oklahoma City, what neighborhood are you in? Or if you're elsewhere, what city are you in? With sadness, the memorial candle this morning is lit for 3 longtime members. Henry Statt, who died last Sunday, October 27th, after a long struggle with cancer. A family service is planned for the spring. We also remember Jenny King, who died on Thursday, October 31st, also from cancer. And we want to mention that longtime First Unitarian member who moved away some years ago, Bob Petrie, died on Sunday, October 27th, peacefully surrounded by his family in Lexington, Kentucky. Today, our service is led by our own Scot Harvey. I knew you'd love that. Welcome to First Unitarian Church. And now the prelude prepares us for worship. Our chalice lighter this morning is silver in honor of her birthday. We light this chalice with trembling hands and open hearts. As we gather in the sacred place, we acknowledge the tension that hums beneath the surface of our conversations, the fear that lingers in the air, both within this congregation and across the country, around the choices that lie ahead. This flame burns as a reminder that even in uncertain times, we are not alone. That fear does not diminish our capacity for love. That conflict, through uncomfortable, can lead us toward deeper truths. May the light of this flame guide us towards courage, clarity, and compassion, toward the work of healing and justice, no matter what comes. In the weeks to come, may we strive to be kind with one another and with ourselves, holding space for both our anxieties and our hopes. And may we trust that, even in moments of darkness, the spark of possibility remains alive within us. We light this chalice in faith, faith in ourselves, in each other, and in the power of love to transform fear into action.
Good morning. It's good to see your faces after an eventful evening. Let me ask you, who was awakened by sirens in the middle of the night? Yeah, Our first, we had three. We live in Choctaw. And the first one was at 1:30. The second one was at 1:15. And the third one was at 2. But I hope everyone is doing okay, and I hope all of you watching on YouTube are doing well. Come, let us gather, like petals opening to the morning sun, each of us bringing our own color, our own story, our own hope. We come from seasons of joy and sorrow, from places of loss and renewal, knowing that life, like a garden, blooms and withers, and yet new buds always wait to unfold. In this place, we weave together what has been, honoring memory as a seed planted deep in our hearts. And as we gather, let us kindle the light of hope, a flame passed from hand to hand, a reminder that even when the night is long, there are those who carried the light before us, and now it's ours to carry forward in love, in justice, in courage. Come, let us worship together. And I invite you to greet one another at this time. Please join in singing hymn number 103.
And make note, the third verse is on the following page.
Who thee by faith before the
My birthday is on Halloween, and I've always enjoyed it. I like to think of the connection between Halloween, All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, and the Day of the Dead, which is celebrated yesterday and today. Halloween originated out of the pagan holiday of Samhain, which marked the end of the pastoral year. They believed the evening before the new year began, the invisible wall between the living world and the other world disappeared. As a Catholic school attendee, we always had the day after Halloween off from school. All Saints' Day, it was a holy day of obligation, which meant we had to attend Mass, but that was later in the day when my parents got off work. Meanwhile, we got to sleep in, eat candy, and chew over our many adventures of the night before. All Saints' Day was established on November 1st to celebrate all those who made it into heaven, and All Souls' Day on November 2nd to commemorate all the faithfully departed who were baptized but believed to be in purgatory because they died with the guilt of lesser sins on their souls. And the day is dedicated to prayer and remembrance. Day of the Dead evolved from pre-Hispanic times when native people believed an individual soul did not die, but continued to live on in Mictlan, a place of rest. Today it is seen as a time of communication between the living and the dead, a joyous time, and altars are set up to welcome home the souls of the dead, and families celebrate together. So I see this string of days as a time to celebrate our dearly departed, and I like to think of the invisible wall between the two worlds open, not just for a few days, but always. My sister Melly lost her husband last Christmas, and she told me she goes to the cemetery to visit him, and when she's done, she says, "Willie, I'm gonna go home now. I'll see you at home." I have a favorite poem about death, Beyond Recall, by Sharon Bryan. Nothing matters to the dead. That's what's so hard for the rest of us to take in. Their complete indifference to our enticements, our attempts to get in touch. They aren't observing us from a discreet distance. They aren't listening to a word we say. You know that, but you don't believe it. Even deep in a cave, you don't believe in total darkness. You keep waiting for your eyes to adjust and reveal your hand in front of your face. So how long a silence will it take to convince us that we're the ones who no longer exist as far as X is concerned, and why? That they've forgotten every little thing they knew about us, what we told them, and what we didn't have to. Even our names mean nothing to them now. Our throats ache with all we might have said the next time we saw them. I think these thoughts inside us beg to be expressed, and they should be. Expression helps us to organize and know our own thoughts. I often visit my parents and grandparents in dreams, and other people too. I talk to my Irish granny's photo, and I like to think my ancestors are watching over me. These rituals ground me in my identity and connect me to the string of souls I originated from, who live, it is thought, in the bits of DNA passed down to me. I hope you took the opportunity to put a photo or memento on our All Souls altar. If you didn't bring something today, bring it next week. It's going to be up all month. And feel free to talk to them and to listen to them too. They live inside us.
Good morning. My name is Susan Bishop. I am a white woman with gray hair, and my pronouns are she, her, and I am proudly wearing my Harris for President long sleeve black t-shirt. Yes. I was asked the question by Maureen, what does voice mean to me? The organizing strengths of voice remind me of my young adulthood, where people who did not always agree came together for common causes like civil rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, and the rights of the disabled. Today, voice means bringing together a group of people interested in the welfare of their community, be it a neighborhood, a city, or even the entire state. Voice has brought churches, schools, unions, and nonprofits together to actively work for the betterment of Oklahoma City and beyond. It is a nonpartisan organization. Members of Voice don't always agree with each other, yet they stand firmly together with one voice. Voice means activism, showing up at accountability sessions that ask the candidates the tough questions concerning our communities. Our work in Voice is a natural extension into the greater community, doing the work that the social justice work that our church does for the greater good. So now it's time for our offering. Voice is our recipient for this month.
Let us take a moment to settle into this time together. Take a deep breath in and release. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath moving through your body, steady and present. We gather here, aware of the unease that swirls around us, anxiety over the choices to come, fear for what the future holds. This season, so close to the Day of the Dead, reminds us that we stand at a threshold between what has been and what is yet to be. The dead are near, whispering truths we need to hear if we are willing to listen. Breathe in once more and release. The ancestors we remember knew times of turmoil, uncertainty, and struggle. Some fought for justice, some endured fear that feels achingly familiar. Others left lessons not in words, but in their persistence, in the love they passed forward to us. In this moment, may we invite their presence among us, their strength and wisdom and their peace. Breathe in courage and release fear. Breathe in hope and release despair. Though the road ahead may feel unclear, we're not the first to walk it, nor will we be the last. We're part of a long, unfolding story, woven with those who have come before and those who will come after. So may we be gentle with ourselves and one another, holding space for fear without letting it rule us, honoring our grief without letting it harden us. And may we trust that just as the dead live on in our memories, so too will our love, our work, and our hope carry forward, even into an uncertain future. In the silence that follows, we pause to honor those we've lost and to hold all that we carry within us today. And now may we rise from this moment renewed in courage, guided by the wisdom of those who've walked before us, and ready to meet the future, whatever it may bring, with open hearts. During the pandemic, I took up piano, and it's become kind of almost a spiritual practice for me. So you guys are in great luck today, because I'm going to play a musical reflection. And this is a song written by Warren Zevon after he was diagnosed with a terminal illness. And somehow it just really seemed to fit for me. And I have to juggle multiple prescriptions of reading glasses. Shadows are falling, and I'm running out of breath. Keep me in your heart for a while. If I leave you, it doesn't mean I love you any less. There's a train leaving nightly called. When all is said and done, keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sometimes when you're doing simple things around the house, keep me in your heart for a while. You know I'm tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. Keep me in your heart for a while. Hold me in your thoughts. Take me to your dreams. Touch me as I fall into view. When the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I'll be right next to you. Engine drivers headed north to Pleasant Stream. Keep me in your heart for a while. These wheels keep turning, but they're running out of steam. Keep me in your heart for a while. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while.
When Death Comes by Mary Oliver. When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut. When death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon times as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility, and I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular, and each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does towards silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited the world.
Hi, I'm Paul Spicer. My pronouns are he and him. I'm in my late 50s and I'm of European ancestry, and I'm wearing a gray sweater. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 19 to 22 and 27 to 28. It's on the nature of the soul. Neither he who thinks the soul kills, nor he who thinks the soul dies, understands the truth. The soul was never born, it never dies, it is eternal. It is unborn, and it is undying. As a person sheds worn-out garments and puts on new ones, so too does the soul cast off old bodies and enter new ones. Death is certain for the born, and birth is certain for the dead. Therefore, do not grieve for what is inevitable.
Each of us carries within us a quiet light, a presence that, though subtle, keeps us bound to those we have loved and those who have shaped us. Like the sun that rises each morning, this light reminds us of what came before, of the roots we have in one another, and of a vision that sustains us in each small act of love or justice. We add to that vision, making it real and lasting. This work, like a flowing river, wears down the barriers that separate us from each other and from peace. As we keep alive the memory of those who have left us, we honor the many ways they remain with us, their touch still felt in the everyday rituals of our lives, similar to what Maureen talked about. The morning sun, a familiar song, or even the simple act of kindness. Like flowers blooming in the ruins of old cities, we are the ones who raise up what was lost, restoring and reimagining. We move forward not as mere visitors in this world, but as architects of a land where beauty and peace will continue to grow. In every choice, in every promise kept, we are building that land, rooted in love for generations to come. And as we move towards significant moments, an election, oh dear, an election and a season that invites us to reflect on life, death, and memory, it is worth thinking about the light that we carry from those who came before us and how we keep that light alive in the ways we act and love and participate in the world. I'm going to go back to the 50s now. Adlai Stevenson, Unitarian, once said that there is a new America every morning when we wake up. It's upon us whether we will it or not. What do we mean by patriotism in the context of our times? I venture to suggest that what we mean is a sense of national responsibility, a patriotism which is not short and frenzied outbursts of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. Oh, if it were only so. The frenziness seems to have taken over from what I can tell. But what really matters is that tranquil and steady dedication over a long period of time. The work of building a better world, much like the planting of seeds, requires time, care, and patience, and energy. As I think about my wife and her calendar full of wonderful community building activities. It isn't done in bursts of passion, but through steady acts of hope. And I would add that part of that responsibility involves holding on to shared truths, which is difficult these days, because democracy depends on more than laws. It depends on trust and compassion and integrity. Just as memory binds us to those we've lost, these values bind us to one another in the present, helping us shape a future where every voice matters. Our democracy, then, is more than a system. It's an inheritance. It's a gift entrusted to us by those who fought for freedom, equality, and justice. And like memory, democracy calls us to act, not just to honor the past, but to build a future worthy of the struggles that came before us. Unitarian Universalists believe in the value of participation as reflected in one of our principles that we covenant and affirm and promote. We covenant to affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. And historically, UUs were deeply involved in shaping the foundations of this country, or should I say U's and U's. From the writing of the Constitution to the fight for women's suffrage and beyond, their acts were seeds planted in difficult soil, trusting that hope and justice would bloom for future generations. And now it falls to us to nurture what has grown and sow new seeds for those yet to come. Whether or not we believe in life after death, we all seek ways to stay connected to those we've lost. Memory offers us a bridge not just to the past, but to the wisdom that shapes our present and future. In Hinduism, transmigration teaches that each life is a step in a larger spiritual journey, and the actions of one life ripple forward into the next. In Buddhism, the cycle of samsara, birth, death, and rebirth, reminds us that suffering and impermanence are part of life, but so too is the possibility for renewal and peace. Through mindful action and compassion, we plant seeds that ripple across lifetimes. Memory then becomes more than nostalgia. It's part of the great flow of life, reminding us that every moment matters. In Judaism, memory is a sacred act, as we heard a couple of weeks ago, I believe, when the rabbi came. Lighting our Yarzeit candle or saying the Kaddish is not just about remembering those we've lost, but about keeping their spirit alive. In Christianity, too, memory plays a central role. For some, through communion, and some believers recall the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, not only looking back, but embodying his teachings. This is for us, embodying his teachings in their own lives. Love and justice are not only remembered, they are lived. Memory then is not passive, it is active. It shapes how we live today and calls us to carry forward the values of those who came before. I know I cherish memory, and unfortunately, some of the memories I carry may not even be entirely real. For instance, I'm one good anecdote away from convincing myself I was an astronaut. And especially after last weekend when I took Deborah and Suzanne's auction trip out west, and we went to the Thomas Stafford Museum and got to meet with the archivist and all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, I think I was an astronaut. But anyway, even the imperfect memories are important. They connect us to something greater than ourselves. And losing someone is hard, not just because we miss their presence, their touch, but we lose their perspective. And through memory, we keep it alive, through the stories we tell and the lessons they taught us. Their wisdom becomes a compass, guiding us in moments of uncertainty, and we find ourselves asking, what would they have done, or what would they tell me right now? So they live on, not just as an echo of the past, but as part of the story that we're still in. And the question of how to carry the light of those who came before us weighed on me as I stood on the grounds of Dachau concentration camp last month. My family and I visited Germany, and one of our stops was the Dachau concentration camp. And standing in that place of silence, a silence that holds stories too painful for words, I thought of Norbert Čapek, the Unitarian minister. Čapek believed that something as simple and beautiful as a flower could bring people together in community. His life ended in Dachau, a place where beauty and hope were meant to be extinguished. And yet, here we are. His vision lives on in the flower communion, of course, an act of defiant love that insists life's beauty cannot be erased, even in the face of hatred. We live in a world that can feel so overwhelming, but if Čapek, in the darkness of a concentration camp, could dream of unity and beauty, we too can act by casting our votes, speaking up for justice, and building communities grounded in love and hope. Democracy is more than a system, it's a promise to honor the past by creating a future where light endures. As we keep alive the memory of those who've left us, we honor the many ways they remain with us, their touch still felt in the everyday rituals of our lives. Like flowers blooming, we are the ones who rise up what was lost, restoring, and again, reimagining. So we move forward not as mere visitors in this world, but as architects of a land where beauty and peace will continue to grow. With each choice and each promise kept, we help to build a land where justice flows, where love endures, and where hope is born anew in every generation. Please rise as you are willing and able, and let's sing closing hymn number 121. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
We extinguish our chalice flame, but not the light of love and community which burns in our hearts.
We carry with us the love and strength of those who came before, in the memory of those who suffered, but in all people. That enduring love, that beauty that insists on blooming, guides us forward in every vote cast and in every act of compassion. So let's keep this legacy alive in the cause of our values. Thank you.
And don't forget, we have a potluck after lunch.